Ooh, what's up everybody? My name is Petravita and I am very excited because this is episode 13 of The Music Job and because Grandma hooked it up with those steroid injections last night and your boy is feeling good. Whew. Welcome everyone to The Music Job, the podcast / vlog where we discuss not only my journey trying to make it full-time as a music artist and what I'm doing, but also helpful self-help seems redundant, but anyways, tips and tricks that can help you as well on whatever it is that you're pursuing, whatever your dream may be, however you want to spend more of your time. I asked over on my Instagram story a couple days ago what you guys would like to see a video about, and a theme that came up more than once was how do I get inspiration, but also how do I get motivation? And the two I know are separate, but they also can be really intertwined. And a lot of times when I'm created, that's when I'm motivated. And when I feel really motivated, that's when I do things that get me created. So I think they have a relationship that puts them very close together. And so I want to discuss them both today. So without further ado, here are the 5 things I do to get inspired and motivated when it comes to my music. I made a list. So number 1 is that I listen to music. And we sort of have a 1A and a 1B. Because when I listen to music, I do 2 distinct things. The first is that I actually go and listen to other rappers, okay? So other people making hip hop. And I listen, and I like to just see, what do I like? Is there a flow that I can try and do something with? Did someone make a clever rhyme and it reminds me of a certain topic I could make a song about? Or do I hear some really cool production I think, dang, I want to make something with that kind of sound? Those types of things can really set me off. Even when I'm feeling really kind of down and just not sure what to do, I can get really inspired very quickly by listening to other music. Now, the other type of music I listen to is I go completely the other way and I listen to eras of music from really long ago. So, I mean, we're talking 40s, 50s, doo-wop, 60s, 70s into like disco and stuff like that. And a lot of times, not only do I just love to sing, so it gets me in a good mood, but a lot of times when I listen to old music like that, I get reminded of certain instruments or styles or sounds that maybe I haven't thought to put in my own hip-hop music very much, but that could make something really cool if I put the effort into making them good. So I kind of listen to those 2 distinct types of music, and they both can give me inspiration and get me motivated to work. Number 2 are by doing other activities besides music. You guys have probably heard this before. People will say, yeah, the best way to get inspired is to, go take a walk or do something completely unrelated and let things come to you. Don't try and force it. And I also do this in kind of 2 distinct groups when I do other activities to get inspired. The first I do is I almost guilt myself by doing things that I know are kind of avoidance behaviors. So if I had, $1 million and I didn't have any motivation to work and blah blah blah, I think I would probably play a lot more video games. And so sometimes I'll start up a game, and doing something like that, almost I can play for a little bit, but it's never like it was when I was a kid when I just the whole day I'll play and waste it away. I very quickly almost start to feel guilty, and my mind starts pulling itself back to music or to doing something more productive. So that's a kind of I don't know if that will work for everyone or what. You don't want to just drown in your vices, but sometimes kind of leaning into things like that can actually help me a lot. The other activity that I will do is kind of like the first thing I brought, or what I first brought up. Go outside, go do something completely different. I'll go for a run. I will go for a walk. I will I will try some completely different activity from a YouTube tutorial. Like I'll be like, I'm gonna learn a new tie knot today or something like that. I don't know, I'll do some magic tricks with a deck of cards, but something completely unrelated to music. And sometimes those can spark ideas as well, and you let the pressure off of yourself for a minute, and that can help you kind of open up when you come back and you sit down again with the music. Number 3 is something a little more intentional, and that is timer challenges. This is where I will literally do this several times a week. I will say, especially if I'm procrastinating, writing a certain song or finishing something up, I will literally put, say, 10 minutes on a timer, and I will say, for these, all I have to do is these 10 minutes. Put in 10 minutes, just get started, because a lot of times that getting started on something is the thing that helps, or that's the thing that's the hardest. That's the biggest barrier to your getting going on something. And so I'll set a timer, 5-10 minutes, and I'll write whatever I can. I don't worry about it being good. I don't worry about the lyrics being perfect or final. And what I find is that it helps me kind of get into it. And by the time that timer goes off, I don't want to stop. And then I might go on and write and work on a song for half an hour, 2 hours, whatever it takes. So if you want to try something a little more deliberate, give yourself a specific challenge. Say, I'm going to write this as many bars as I can in 10 minutes. Or, if you do something else that's not music, obviously you can apply this other ways. I'm going to do, maybe you're a fine artist and you say, I'm going to do 5 sketches in 5 minutes, and you only give yourself 1 minute to just any idea that pops in your head, do something bare bones, go on to the next one. And then you'll have 5 idea starts at the end of that, and maybe something will have sparked something you can take further, okay? So think about whatever it is you want to do, how you might apply one of these kind of little timer challenges to it. That might help. 4 is I consume media about other artists. This definitely helps a lot with inspiration and motivation. So I will watch a documentary about a hip-hop artist, or maybe you're doing photography, or you're doing some business, some entrepreneurship thing, some business, some invention you've made, and so you watch an interview with a famous photographer, or you go and read one of the inspirational entrepreneurs you kind of aspire to be like. You go and read an interview with them, or watch one of their speeches on YouTube or something like that. Watching inspirational content tends to inspire. For me, I find it works better when it's not just overall inspiring, like corny quotes on Instagram, but when it's like niched into whatever you like to do. So that's why I say specifically for me, something with music artists, for you, something or someone that relates to what you want to do. Sorry about that. Got a phone call. Let us continue. Where was I? Something about artists, documentaries, interviews. With some, either watch something about or something involving someone that inspires you. It sounds a little bit corny, but it definitely works for me. So I would. And it's one of those things where a lot of these things can feel forced or deliberate, and they are, but that's kind of the point. Is there a way to kick you into a mode of being a little more inspired and motivated but having a practical kind of vehicle to get there, instead of just saying, well, get inspired or start writing, so you give yourself kind of some criteria. But that's what I would do for number 4. So watch interviews, documentaries, whatever, involving people that you find inspiring or motivating that are in your trade or your craft. And number 5 is something that I have found so important in personal development over the years, my own confidence, through to doing other activities, to academics, and of course right on through to my music career. And so I think this applies to everyone watching, no matter what it is exactly you're trying to pursue, and that is embody like Jim Carrey in the movie Yes Man, and say yes to every opportunity that comes your way. Sometimes even when I'm having a dull week, if I know I've said yes to some other artist who's gonna come over in the afternoon or the next day or whatever to record something here, that I know, even if I don't feel that up for it, that will get me creative, and I will, just being involved in part of that process will help me. Same thing with going to an open mic night, even if maybe you didn't have something new ready to perform, but you go and you meet other people who are doing music, or you see other people doing cool things, and maybe you get an idea from that, and that inspires and motivates you. So I would encourage you to say yes to every even tangentially related opportunity that comes your way, because you never know what turns into something else. And this one is a good segue into my little kind of update for each episode on where I'm at. We're at day 650 something into the process right now. Anyways, I took a free performance several months back at a small kind of gathering, and just because I did that, I met someone there who was on the planning committee for a much bigger event, and all these months later, it's finally come together, and I just had a meeting with the person organizing that, and I'm about to book by far the largest gig, and a paying gig, woohoo, that I've had so far, and that only happened because I kept saying yes to a whole bunch of shows. And even though there were a whole bunch where something like that didn't happen, one of them it did, and other good things happened. So that may be different for you. If you're doing something else, maybe you go to an art opening for a local artist, even if you don't know their stuff that well. If you are, even if you think you're really solid on your team or your idea or your business that you have so far, go to local entrepreneurial meetups, because you never know where some really cool collaboration or just brilliant marketing idea gets sparked from someone else. So yeah, I think that was a good way to tie in my own progress with this number 5 of saying yes to every opportunity. Anyways, that's what I've got for you guys today. Thank you guys for watching and listening. Hopefully you found this useful. If you did, please feel free to share it with someone else. My music, as always, is available on Spotify, on Apple Music, anywhere you like to listen to music under the name Petravita. And if you feel like supporting, feel free to consider becoming a patron over at patreon.com/Petravita. I'm actually starting this month a short story series that is only going to be published there for people who are signed up, but everyone has access to it, so even if you just throw a buck at me, and there's other things that you get for that as well. So if that's at all interesting to you, or you just feel like helping support someone who's on their creative journey, then feel free to check that out as well. Thank you guys so very much for watching, and I will catch you next time. Peace. Now, but whether it's me or someone else's art, it means a lot to all of us if we don't drift apart. So check in on your recluses, give praises your heart. Be proud you might have been around when something amazing starts. At least don't be miserable and grumpy about your day job. We'll take it.